Yo, what's good, world? It's your boy Melly back with another video on this numerology series. And today we're going to be talking about the number 5, right? So 5 days, months, year cycles, whether that's personal or universal, doesn't matter. This is going to be how you can maximize the potential of the 5 energy that you're dealing with. So boom. 5 is the number of Mercury. It's ruled by Mercury. So Mercury is the planet of communication, ideas, your thought processes, the way that you use words. 5 is gonna have all of those things related to it as well. It's kind of like a cage. Think of like a caged bird, right? Finally getting a chance to get out the cage and soar around and fly wherever the fuck it wants. That's 5 energy, right? Because 5 is, like I said, air element. When you think of air, it's like going with the flow kind of energy. That's what 5 actually is. It's going with the flow. It's able to be very flexible, and it's more so a number of change, right? Constant change. So when you're in a 5 cycle, more specifically like a year or a month, you're most likely going to experience like drastic changes and transitions in your life, like you going from this phase to the other. During 5 cycles, you're most likely going to be doing a lot of like activities in public view. So your schedule is probably going to be full of different kinds of events and things you got to get taken care of. It's also a time where you're more physically and mentally alert, because like I said, Mercury is the planet of thinking, your thought process, right? It's the mind. So everything in your immediate environment, which is also connected to Mercury, is going to be things that you're a lot more alert and aware of, right? So your mental faculties are all enhanced, and basically every sense, right? Sight, sound, what you feel, what you taste, what you smell, all of that shit is going to be enhanced with 5 cycles, right? Because the way that 5 people experience the 5 physical senses, it's like it's heightened to a different kind of degree. Like, y'all not gonna understand because y'all not 5, but I'm telling you right now, addiction is something that can be a theme with that energy as well. I'm a 5. I definitely, trust me, I know. So I'm not saying I'm like an addict to like every single sensual pleasure, but we like to get that, gratification. We like to get that stimulation. And so whether that's through pleasurable things like entertainment, food, drugs, even sex. Sex is a very key one though, because obviously sex is like the most feel-good thing that you can actually do, or one of them, I guess, at least. Attraction from the opposite sex is going to be high during the 5 cycle. My bad, I'm shivering. I'm kind of cold out here. What the fuck? It was just warm. Anyways, a lot of attraction from the opposite sex could have like multiple different partners as well. And when you get into like love and relationships and things like that, they need their freedom. So there might be a thing where there's something preventing you from feeling like truly free or liberated, so you leave that partnership. That could happen during a 5 cycle. Or you could even, like I said, with 5 being very sensual and always indulging in like the sensory pleasures, they can end up having sex, having a lot of sex, being very active sexually as well. Not just mentally and physically, sexually, emotion, all of that. You're gonna be active in all those different kinds of ways. Because 5 is about go, 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 go. Like they on constant go time. Like they're always moving, always constantly doing something, right? Stimulating their mind, stimulating their 5 physical senses. It's also about, like I said, change and transitions, right? So career-wise, this is one of the best times or cycles to go through, because it's either going to improve your situation for the better, or it's just going to, you're going to switch. Something is going to switch about your life when you enter any 5 cycle. So your career, your job, it may be like easier to sell your ideas, because 5 is also very expressive number. So in regards to your talents and the things that you're skilled in, being able to portray that and display that to the world is going to be something that may be a theme as well during a 5 cycle. Because it also, 5 in astrology is the 5th house, which is the house of Leo, Leo is a sign of like expression, creativity, and just putting yourself out there. Like you're the center of the attention kind of thing. So 5 life paths, they kind of have that trait in a similar way, but not exactly. It's like they have a dramatic flair to when they're expressing their self through art, through communication, sales, whatever it may be. They're just very good at, let's just say, selling their ideas, selling what it is that they're trying to communicate with their words, with speaking, taking risks and putting yourself out there. So with 5, they're very daring, very experimental, let me say, right? They're the explorers of the 1 through 9. Like they're the ones that are going to take that risk and venture into places in the world that everybody else is scared of, or going to the places that nobody is going to go to. Case in point, nature, right? Very explorative, very curious mind. Travel can be a very big theme as well. You may be traveling, you may be, whether it's in your city, because 5 is more so like I said, immediate environment in like your city, your community. So whether it's like just getting to know your area better, or just traveling like long distance, short distance, it doesn't matter. Travel may be a theme. It's best to take risks during 5 cycles, because you're more than likely going to be able to get away with different things. For example, like if I take the risk to face my fear, something that's been blocking me, right, stopping me in my tracks from really like progressing forward, something like fear or something like shame or guilt or trauma or anything like that is going to be easier to address and like face head on, because of that transitional energy of the 5, right? You're gonna have more reserves and mental ability to like address this shit, you feel me? Press the issue. That even goes into like things like investments. Like when you're doing different kinds of investments in properties, in stock markets, or things like that, you're able to take more risks because the universe is like pushing for you to do that, to step outside of your comfort zone, outside of the box of what it is that you know, and go into the unknown. Venture into things that have not been seen or traveled to, things like that. Whoa, there's a little fuzzy in my face. Now in regards to the sex, your sexual appeal is going to increase during the 5 energy as well. 5 cycle, my bad. Because, like I said, it's very connected to like various options. Like, you have a lot of variety and a lot of options during 5 cycles. But also, I want to say temperance, right? When you look at the tarot cards, temperance being 14, 1 and 4 being 5. So balance and moderation is a theme as well, right? Making sure you're not overindulging or being excessive with the things that you consume, whether that be entertainment, whether that be food, sex, all of that, because of the addictive personality that the 5 energy can have. It can be easy to, delve into all those different things that feel good to the senses, to the 5 physical senses. But practicing discipline and consistency, because this goes into as well the way that you go about your, creative projects is going to be like so many ideas all over the place. You have to ground that shit into reality, because 5 is air element. You have to bring the things that are in the air and ground them into reality by using practicality and applying discipline to these things, so that you could see some better result or successful outcome with the idea that you have. Let's see. I covered that. Restlessness. Like I said, there's like constant activity in a 5 cycle. Make sure that you're getting your rest. Make sure you're not like staying up all night, scrolling through social media and trying to come up with ideas and do shit till 3 in the morning like I do every fucking day and I need to get better at. Don't do that during a 5 cycle, because you're not gonna have the energy the next day to do all the shit that you want to get done. And you got a whole list of shit. Make sure you're getting your rest. More importantly, I just want to also say, because insomnia, nervous disorders, all of that could be associated with lack of sleep, irritability. Make sure you're not indulging in the drugs, alcohol, all the things that are, unhealthy, right? If you do them in excessive amounts. It's fine to, have a decent level that you're indulging in the pleasures of life in, but just don't let it lead to excess and gluttony, you feel me? Stuff like that. E is the 5th letter of the alphabet, entertainer, all that shit. You hear GT3 talk about all the fucking time. Yeah, 5 has all of those things where they're talented and gifted in being singers, actors, all the shit that deals with entertainment. But it's because their ability to go with the flow and remain flexible and adaptable.
For meditation. If the musician can enter a state of flow or totally free expression, a kind of egolessness or selflessness, as one of his compositions is aptly named, then that can become a true form of meditation, where the unity of the divine can be experienced and be expressed in the music that is created from that pure moment. Whether Coltrane succeeds in this is hard to say, but listening to his later recordings, it's hard not to hear a musician who definitely loses himself in the music in a profound way. A powerful and intense expression of human emotion and divine longing.
Right, most adaptable, flexible number in the whole 1 through 9, they're able to tap into different states. Once they get past the excessive indulgence part of their obstacles, they're able to then tap into different senses outside of just the 5. Right? So they can then become mediums and act as channelers of specific messages, right?
Coltrane's journey was deeply influenced by Eastern philosophies and spirituality, which ultimately inspired his masterpiece, A Love Supreme. His quest for spiritual enlightenment was so intense that Coltrane famously claimed to be in communication with God through his music, fusing his melodies with a deeper sense of purpose. Not many are aware that Coltrane pursued a life of sobriety after overcoming addiction challenges, dedicating himself to both personal growth and musical evolution. This iconic jazz figure's commitment to intertwining melodies with profound spiritual meaning remains a powerful motif that continues to inspire musicians around the world.
with the Mercury, this is communication. So a lot of public speakers and writers, powerful public speakers and writers, are 5s. Look at Malcolm X. Look at the Honorable Lois Farrakhan. Like those guys, right? Perfect example of what I'm talking about. They're able to portray a message of freedom, right? That is for a specific community of people. And there's that theme and influence of freedom and liberation, again, like I said, with the 5. Just look at these guys and look at the famous celebrities who have this specific life path numbers, and you're able to see the energy play out in how these celebrities act and how they, how they present themselves. Put your talents and all of that on display during 5 months and years. You're probably already going to feel the urge to do all this shit. Like I always say in all my other videos, this is what the natural inclination is going to be, regardless if you're aware of it or not. But if you are aware of it, here's how you can maximize it. Wednesday and Friday Wednesday is ruled by Mercury, Friday is ruled by Venus. Venus is also connected to 5. There's like a pattern that Venus, forms in its revolutionary cycle throughout space, that it forms into like a 5-petal flower, like a 5-petal lotus or something like that. I could look it up and show you guys. But if you do things on Fridays and Wednesdays, like setting up interviews or asking for promotions, right? Traveling on those days, even putting your skills, putting yourself out there on Wednesdays and Fridays, you will see a lot of success if you're in a 5 cycle or if you're a 5 life path. Things like, because the flexibility and the amount of finesse that 5 actually has is powerful, right? It's more powerful on the days that 5 rules. So if you're in a 5 cycle, or you're a 5 person, 5 year, 5 month, 5 day, whatever, 5 life path, 5th day of the month, do ask for promotions. Do take the risks that would seem like unreasonable to take them on 5 days, because you're most likely going to have like a better successful outcome in taking risks, because the universe is asking you to take the risk on the 5 days, years and months, all of that. And the colors of 5 are green and silver. Yeah, I think I covered mostly everything with 5. Don't engage in gluttony, overindulging more than you need to the point where it becomes unhealthy. It leads to other things, could lead to like high blood sugar levels and things like that when you're eating dessert, all that shit is possibilities. Yeah, like I said, excitement, all that other shit is and there was another numerologer that said 5 was the number of drugs, sex, and rock and roll. And it's like, yeah, it can be, because 5 has that influence of indulgence more than any other number, way more. Variety, right? They just love the variety, the stimulation of these things that these things bring. Yeah, you can be very successful in your affairs and getting your ideas off the ground that were unsuccessful in other prior years, right? So go out there and do it during a 5. Go out there and do it during a 5 cycle. That Nike "Just Do It" slogan would be perfectly applied to 5 energy, right? Taking risks and just doing it. That's it. The universe wants you to take that bold step into the direction of your passions and your talents and what you're gifted in, putting yourself out there, advertising yourself, right? You're gonna be able to mentally and intellectually hold yourself above water during 5 cycles, because 5 has that ability to be very lucky and manipulate things to go in their favor. I'm not out here saying use this energy in a negative way to, control others or anything like that, because you will get bad karma for that. 5 has a lot of luck, but no number is going to beat karma. Probably except 9s. But other than that, yeah, don't be using my shit to do ill will and all that other shit, my nigga. I'm not putting the information out there for it, none of that. So yeah, do what you will, but be cautious of the laws and the mechanics of karma, right? Universal laws in general will rule over all of this shit.